pitch. Master
Nivek.
Master Nivek.
Bravo! To make it clear, I'm not the master. The master is my wife and she's at home, yeah? So I'm really passionate about AI and the whole idea of AI and the philosophy behind it. And I'm an artist, so I decided to go into a bit of the AI art, how it's being developed at the moment. And I really got interested and I submerged myself into it and decided to create a collection which inspires. The idea is more to inspire and to educate, since for me this is the way forward. You know, it's not like that we have an option whether to opt out of AI or going into AI. It's going to be the way forward. So for me it's like this is a way of inspiring and educating a bit about it. And there's going to be a collection of NFTs. So I created these characters. Every character is, the collection is called archetypes. It's like we're tapping into the archetypes. Like there's the archetypes of being a bully, a warrior, and we're trying to. This is trying to inspire and creating new archetypes that is less fear-based and more creative. So it's more. You can read this time and space that we find ourselves in. These archetypes are the usher human into a full embrace and integration of the natural cosmic evolution. Of course, it's a bit more story elaborated, stepping out of fear-based existence into creative order and harmonious living. Every character has attributes. Of course, the idea is to someone who will be buying the NFT. Will buy the NFT as he resonates with the character, and yeah. So everyone has these attributes. When you buy one of these, eventually, because it's not for sale at the moment, when you buy one of these NFTs, then there is a soundtrack that is going to be available from Discord, which it is available now. The idea of the pitch here is to join into Discord, because we would like to create a more community base, and then everyone pitches in what's the next forward move. These are some of the characters. All of the art is created in 3 different diffusion models of AI, a bit of Photoshop on the color, but mainly it's all based on AI art. So, and when we talk about AI arts, of course, at the moment, I don't know how many of you know about AI arts at the moment. What's going on? Yeah, there's a huge wave. So there are the prompt-based, like Midjourney, DALL-E, which are the most famous ones. But then there are the stable diffusion, which is on the forefront as well. JAX, which I use, for instance, if you see all these intricate weaving into it, that's a specific AI model. So the whole plot, just to give you an idea, one character, it takes about just the stitching, it takes about 12 hours of rendering. If you want to know more about the AI, this collection, the project, please, there's the QR code, you can scan it, there's the whole link tree. Mainly it's about the Discord, that's what we're really pushing at the moment. And that was my pitch.
Kids, don't be shy. Go and scan it.
I'm more interested in the questions, if there are any questions.
Pastor, are you?
If
you create the art, do you actually sometimes stop like the diffusion models at some steps? Like, I don't know, if you're doing like 500 steps and then you do like a stop at 250 steps and then do variations of it to...
Yes. And even sometimes it's like generating one with 120 steps, the same prompt, the same thing, with different CFGs and steps, and then integrate them. That's what I'm using Photoshop, mainly, the compositing side. Which Stable Diffusion most probably will have the compositing in it.
Hey, do you mind about keeping a coherent style, and how do you keep a coherent? Do you mind to keep a coherent style, and how do you keep a coherent style if you generate art with AI?
Again.
Do you mind about keeping a coherent style, and how do you keep a coherent style if you generate art with AI?
It's the seed. First and foremost, the seed to keep on the style and the prompt, and then it depends what you're using. Yeah, like for these guys, the initial image is in Midjourney, then went into Jux. Jux is not like Midjourney. There's like I have collaborators with me from Discord that they are into coding. I'm not into coding, so there's a bunch of coding into the backend, and then they give me the settings like Midjourney and DALL-E and those kind of things. They don't give you, like for instance, how many cuts there are on the image that is generating stuff from it. That I have control on. You know, with these kind of, that I can. If you come on the Discord, there's a lot of information and we exchange as well. Like the Discord diffusion, Jux. There's a lot of other, but it's on Google Colabs. It's not on Discord. You know?
Do you have like a form or something like GitHub? Do you have like a GitHub repository or something which?
I'm not understanding.
Is this Google Colabs version publicly available? So
Yes. So if you join the Discord or if you send me an email or something, I just send you my collab and you can run it. It's open source.
Yo man, kudos number one, this is super cool. I wanted to ask you two questions. First off, what's your AI of choice? I think you said Jax.
At the moment is Jux is because of the stitching. There's no other notebook that is doing the stitching so far. But Stable Diffusion is definitely my favorite.
Awesome.
And the community is super strong.
You mentioned programmers as well. Can they jump in with Stable Diffusion and add more variations?
Yes. And this is just the beginning. Like
Because DALL-E is closed at the moment, that's the headache.
Sorry?
You have access to DALL-E as well?
I have access to
OpenAI?
DALL-E, yes.
And you prefer...
I don't like DALL-E. I only use DALL-E for the in-painting part.
So you use multiple AIs basically to be able to get these out?
Basically, this is what I'm passionate about. You know, apart being the arts and the image and all of that, and the NFT. Of course, I want to sell NFTs and make money as well because I need to live. You know, but the most passionate part of is the philosophical side of it. It's like for me, AI arts, it doesn't change anything. When I was doing marketing and doing digital arts since 1990s, you know, I use After Effects, Photoshop, Studio Max, Cinema 4D, Octave Render. It's like I get the best of both and see. Same goes when you're painting. You get that brand of paint, that brush, that tira, that sometimes, you know.
I love that, and you can tell that in the consistency of your art as well.
You know, so in reality, AR is changing a lot. In principle, it's changing nothing.
And one more question I wanted for you. Do you know what the potential implications might be with regards to intellectual property, with regards to using these different
Yes,
AIs?
I just had a conversation. Can you come up? What's your name? This guy. For me, intellectual property it's a huge discussion on its own because the way I see things, yes, I'm one of those believers that we need to widen what intellectual property is, because at some point in my journey as an artist, I really needed to challenge a bit myself personally and step into a bit more of a wider space in my understanding. What am I creating from? Because being here, answering your question, looking at this laptop and hearing the background noise of the streets, I'm being inspired by that. Then I go home, write something or get a Tila and and then I say that is mine and I'm going to claim intellectual property of it. So this guy just nailed it, nothing is coming out of nothing. So there's always an inspiration of something. So, and these are the discussions that I really love to discuss about. So thank you for the question. It's a very, very, very small one.
Not surprising. I think a good comparison would be actually engines like Unreal Engine 5 as a comparison. Like over there, they actually have the right to take revenue from you based on how much profit you end up generating on a project. Obviously, you're pushing something that's uncharted territory here, so there's no precedent to do.
Like for instance, the main prompt of this, because the idea is the Renaissance, but I coined it Ren AI Science, because that's what I believe we're in a Renaissance period. We're moving it to changing the mindset rather than just AI. So the prompt was a super simple image journey, Leonardo, Platonic geometry, and I forgot it was. But then I said Unreal Engine. Yeah? So I wanted a bit of the texture, how Unreal Engine renders. So essentially, Unreal Engine, strictly speaking, if they want to be a bit they can say, listen, you're using our way of rendering, but I'm not using the engine, and a bunch of other stuff is being funneled into it. They have a point and I have a point, so over there it's like, what to do now, And I think in the next few months or maybe the next year, this topic is going to be hot potatoes for sure. Because I was on a Discord with someone, and there was an artist who wants to opt out of the option that someone can prompt her style. And she can't. She can't. Because now it's in the base. It's like the neural network is there's no way of going.
I think it's more the question, to what extent does the algorithm have some degree of ownership of what you produce using it rather than the styles itself?
I think these are the discussions that need to be made in reality.
Looking at the neural network itself as a potential engine rather than just a tool. And the questions with regards to the implication of IP in that regard.
I think it's a vast discussion and there's a lot of things to be learned. The most important, that's what the project stands for, is to inspire and instigate a bit, like changing a bit our mindsets. Because like the way I see things always, it's like we're very personalized. I say it on myself, I'm not judging here. So, but in reality, we're very personalized, and most of the times when something drastic change or it challenges you, because I'm looking at it from I, me, and mine, and what about me, and what's going to happen in my personal property, and I'm the artist, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm that. It limits me from seeing the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is super huge, and with all the respect, there's no way turning back. I mean, there's no way. So it's either, for the way I see it, we're facing that way. Where it's going to hit, no one knows, but I would like to update and educate and go in it in a more creative way rather than in it in a, So this project is all about that.
There's two more questions here.
Yeah.
Yeah, how would you value this art? Because for me it looks like with AI technologies, like the real artists, hand artists, yes, it's like the value is a little bit lost with AI. So how would you value this type of art in the future? Because kind of everyone can be an artist here now. I feel like the quality of art, because it's going to be full of art now in internet.
Okay.
How would you value it?
So I start from the back. Yeah. Everyone here is an artist. So I'm the artist. Because when we're talking about
the creativity,
it's creativity.
Yeah,
that's the point. So you can be creative in one way, I'm creative in the other way, and so forth and so on. So that's basic for me. How do you value an abstract painting that sells for 20,000 euros, which goes? And what's that meaning? And the meaning you're giving it,
Yeah.
you know, the value you're giving it. I'm just painting it, and the value you're the one judging the value of it. Ultimately, you know, I can say, listen, this is 200 million euros, and no one buys it. You know, so
So it's mainly auction, or is there a platform for it?
for this is going to be stable price, not auction. But the idea, I'm more interested in the idea of the question that you raised. Value in art is I think it shifts. Yeah, like there are painters who had no value 100 years ago, and the sketch of those painters that died poor today, it says for 50,000 euros. So what is the reality of value in that term? You know?
Bravo.
There's one last question right here.
I mean, not so much a question, but I need to defend my name a bit because I'm supposedly knowing copyright, so I need to...
Sorry man, I implicated you.
No, but I like the discussion that was going on, and I want to share 2 points. First and foremost, as long as the master is using the AI as tools, but he makes the creative choices, he will get copyright for that, right? Under the law, he's the one who creates the work, and therefore he is entitled to the rights. And that is not the first time that the law has to encounter this phenomenon. In fact, the rise of photography posed similar questions. Like, is the photographer an artist? Can a photographer have copyright? Because all the photographer does is just press click, right? Yeah. And the machine does everything. But we agreed at some point in law that apart from just pressing the button and, you know, make the click, the photographer makes certain choices and therefore deserves copyright. And to be honest, fair enough, because if I take a photo, it's just ugly, right? If somebody who is a good photographer takes a photo, it's art. Fair enough. And in the other element that was mentioned, whether the AI tools themselves can claim copyright, I'm sad in a way to break the bad news that they can't. And they can't because only human beings can have rights and obligations. And no matter how remarkable an AI system might be, no matter if an AI system can be the next DALI or whatever, an AI system cannot have rights and obligations. And you might say us lawyers are a bit narrow-minded, why don't we allow other beings to exist? But there is a fundamental difference between an AI agent and a human being. AI agents don't have needs. They don't need a home.
They don't need
they don't need food. They don't need water and so forth. Therefore, giving them rights and obligations as if they had such needs, it would be a little bit of a long stretch, at least for now. And this is the basic reason why the American Copyright Office is the first one that globally has denied copyright to AI, and why we don't have a similar development in Europe, but the majority of academic literature on the matter denies copyright protection purely for AI agents. Just as a short intervention. I think I made the evening boring enough. It's my time to log out.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for this random. Thank you for Nivek, and thank you for the random last contribution, who's by the way a full-blown lawyer and a senior lecturer at the University of Malta at the Master of Blockchain, Dr. Johannes. Thank you very much. We are going to have a small break and see you again in 10 minutes.